Guys, what's good? Dr. David.Hoops here, and today I am going to be telling you about the 5 things I wish I'd known before I did my first marathon. So sit back, relax, and make sure you don't make these mistakes in exactly the same way I did. So, number 1, have a plan. Now, this one sounds pretty easy, but it's not something I did. So, I've been running for a few months when I decided, you know what, I'm just going to book a marathon and go for it. So, have a plan is really important. Now, something that I will say is that booking a marathon or setting that target first before creating that plan is absolutely fine. Get that target booked in and then figure out how to do it after that. So that would be my first one. And break that running into different chunks, whether you can run 3 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles, whatever your current starting point is. Try and figure out what those next steps might be and mix that training up. You know, you want to gradually increase the mileage, have different types of workouts on there, including strength, high intensity interval training, long runs, short runs, tempo runs where you run quicker for certain portions and then slower, and really mix it up and keep it varied. But also include things like foam rolling, stretching, ice, strappings, and all these different things to make sure your recovery is as good as possible as well. The other thing I would definitely consider is building up that mileage and tapering it down as well. So something that you might want to do is have a bit of a peak in the middle, and then as you start to go towards the run, you can bring that kind of distance down so you're not exhausted basically when you get to your run. You want to be nice and fresh and feeling ready for that activity. So that would be my first one. Have a plan, stick to it, and get that goal booked in. So number 2 refers to actually being on the marathon. I'm just going to adjust here slightly. And this is eating and drinking. So firstly, eat a lot before you do your marathon. Feel free to carb load, and that's something I did on my marathon. So I ran on a Saturday. On Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I ate a lot of carbohydrates, pastas, breads, sugary things, just to fill up my glycogen storage and feel energetic and like I had a lot of energy, you know, ready to go. And then on the morning, again, eat as much as you're comfortable. So you don't want to feel sluggish, and you don't want to feel like you are carrying this food like it's a burden. You want to get to that nice point of feeling full, but in a positive way where you know that that's going to just get turned into energy for you to crush your run. The second part is drinking a lot. You want to be hydrated. You want your wee to be see-through basically. If it's green or yellow or brown, you haven't drank enough. So that's one way just to do a quick test to see where you're at. When you actually get onto your marathon or any long run, feel free to drink and eat during it. You might not need to. If you fueled yourself really effectively, you might think that you don't need to do that and drink and eat much on your run. I, however, would suggest that you do look to actively build in drinks breaks and food breaks as well, because at a point in the marathon, it will turn from an enjoyable run into a slog, and that slog is amplified when you're hungry and when you're dehydrated. So we don't want to get into those kind of areas. Consider things like gels, salt tablets, running vests with bottles so you can run with it. At some marathons you have kind of drink stations and food stations, those sorts of things. It is definitely not a sign of weakness if you are stopping at those different stations. You know, you want to be safe and you want to be able to perform at your best and at your maximum, and being able to, refuel essentially is exactly what we're looking to do at that marathon. So you can imagine if, let's say you've ran a half marathon, 13.1 miles, and you start to feel tired, dehydrated, hungry, energyless, it would be pointless to slog on for another 13.1 miles, doing damage to your body, your mindset, and really it would not be an enjoyable thing to do. So instead, you look to have specific times and stations that you're going to visit, almost like a checkpoint. One, this is going to keep your mindset nice and refreshed. If you're, rather than aiming for the 26.2 miles, you're aiming for that next checkpoint, maybe 3 miles or 4 miles or 6 miles or 8 miles, depending on how you're feeling. And then you can make sure you are refueling your body effectively, which is going to lead to higher performance and more enjoyment in the latter stages of the run. Number 3, walking isn't failing. Of course, you want to get around the marathon as quickly as possible. And if you can run 26.2 miles without stopping, fantastic for you. If you can't, that is not a problem. It's important that you structure your race in a way that is going to enable you to finish. With a marathon, unless you're a professional athlete, finishing is the main priority. Whether you're doing it as a personal goal, you're doing it for charity, whatever you're doing it for, getting round is a priority. So building in a strategy to help you do that is something I would strongly suggest. There's a few things you could do. You could aim to complete a certain mile per minute. You could aim to complete a certain number of miles per hour. So let's say you aim for 5 miles an hour. You could run for 4, walk for 1. You could break this down into timings. You could run for 45 minutes, walk for 15. Or you could just go off your feel. You want to walk for a certain period of time, that's absolutely fine. You could do lampposts, you could break it down into 5 minutes run, 5 minutes walk. It really is up to you. But the main thing is getting to the end. So look to structure your training in that way as well. You could mirror up your breaks where you walk, you could eat and drink, and then you could run again. It really is up to you. But do not think that that is a sign of you failing. A marathon is a huge task and a massive challenge. Hardly anybody attempts them and completes them. So being in a situation where you are actually attempting to finish this is something that you should be really proud of. And if you walk and run, that does not take anything away from the completing of the marathon. So number 4, guys, is a crucial one: chafing and blisters. Now, I found this out the hard way, and I don't know why I didn't think of it before my run, but I ended up getting a huge blister. It was the biggest blister I've ever had on the inside of my big toe. I actually thought my nail had come off my big toe because I could feel something it was like a pin, and it was really uncomfortable. I finished the run, took my shoe off, and there was this blister. It was massive. And I ended up popping it a few days later, and it sprayed up the wall. It was that kind of filled with all sorts of juices. So prepare your feet in the week leading up to the marathon. Cream them, put body lotion on them, make them nice and soft, look after them, massage them, and really make sure they're in as good a condition as possible. Cut your toenails. Might sound stupid, but this tiny little sharp edge on a toenail can either cut your foot quite bad or create a blister. So make sure you trim those toenails. And then the second part of this number is chafing. Again, I found this out the hard way. So during my run, I felt great, got in the shower afterwards, and I was stinging between my legs, my butt, between my I said between my legs, didn't I? But the gentleman's area, let's just call it that. And it was not pleasant. So make sure you slather yourself up in Vaseline, in creams, in whatever you use, and make sure you limit the amount of chafing because it's uncomfortable. In terms of what you can do prior to the run to kind of counteract these things, plasters is a good one, on your nipples, on your toes, on your pads, on the balls of your feet, your heels, just to give you a bit of protection going in. You can talc your clothes, so put talcum powder into your clothes and it soaks up the sweat and keeps things dry. That's something I've never done, but it's something I'm definitely going to look into. And of course, start the the race with yourself nice and Vaselined. Sometimes you can get kind of chafing underneath here, your elbow, your shoulder, and underneath your armpit. Vaseline it up. And in the weeks leading up to your marathon, feel free to kind of check these things out. Try different bits of kit, try different types of Vaseline and plasters and all these sorts of things to put you in the best possible position to thrive and to feel comfortable and enjoy your run. It definitely helps. And we've made it. Number 5. This is probably the most important one. And again, this is something I'm personally still working on as well, is enjoy it. Enjoy the moment. When you do a marathon, you've probably done months worth of training. You've been in your head. You've been thinking about the race and all your diet, nutrition and training and stretching and foam rolling, and your family sacrificed time, your partner sacrificed time, you've sacrificed time. It's probably been stressful. So when you get to race day, really enjoy it. Relax into the run, get your head up, take some photos of the sights, video bits, vlog it, really make it an experience that you're never going to forget. Because who knows, you might decide that this is your only marathon. It might be that this starts something like it has for me and it catapults you towards an even bigger goal. You might love it, who knows. But making sure you're present in the moment and really, helping other people, you're helping the crowds finish their runs as well. It's so important that you do that. So I really hope this has helped, and I really hope that you are ready to enjoy your marathon if you're about to do it. So guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If it's been any help at all, please like and subscribe, give it the thumbs up and share it about to help those who might need it. I'm going to be continuing with my ultramarathon prep. We're about 7 or 8 weeks out from doing my first ever 100-mile ultramarathon around the trails and roads and canals of Chester in the United Kingdom. I'm so excited. It's going to be a huge challenge. And just remember, I was where you were at a few weeks ago. I'd never done any formal competitions or running before, and after my marathon I decided to really go on and crack on with all of the the opportunities that running provides you. I hope you're really enjoying this series, and if you want me to talk about any specific topic or challenge or obstacle or anything related to running, marathons, mindset, just let me know. There are so many different things that we could talk about. We could be here all day. So I'm going to go and get sorted and crack on with the day. I hope you are too, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.